Joining us to let us know how things are looking is Town Supervisor Mark Witmer. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Joe.
There was a meeting last night. What happened?
We had a special meeting last night just to continue our review of the zoning law. So just to bring everyone up to speed, on March 27th, the Zoning Commission came to agreement and finished their work on a zoning law. They were satisfied with it and voted to pass it on to the town board. The town board accepted that at their April 5th meeting. So since then, it's been in our hands. We've had a couple of meetings where we've had some discussion of it. And so last night we scheduled a special meeting to continue that discussion. We discussed the water overlay district, I'll call it, that protects water resources. That includes the floodplain, wetlands, and a riparian buffer. So really what we focused on was the riparian buffer, which is something that would be new for the town.
Were there the same, let's say, vociferous opinions that you've been hearing all along the process, or were things more or less tame last night?
Oh, things were tame. Yeah, it was great. We had, I don't know, there were a number of people online at the meeting, and there were a number of people at the town hall. I think, supportive of the zoning law, and some people concerned about it, but absolutely unanimously, the conversations were cordial and constructive. The meeting last night was a meeting of the town board, so it wasn't intended to take public input. There were some questions and some input offered, which was appreciated, but the meeting was a discussion of board members to review what the zoning commission has given us and move forward on that.
We're speaking with Caroline Town Supervisor Mark Witmer. So what happens next?
So we did discuss that one aspect. We've scheduled another special meeting for Thursday, June 1st from 7 to 9 p.m. And we'll continue to review the zoning law. I think at that meeting we're gonna review what the zoning commission presented as far as the different districts, and so we'll continue this process of reviewing what we have in our hands, and when we're satisfied with that discussion, we'll make any amendments, and we're doing those as we go along, and then we will hold a public hearing on the law in that form, and then after that public hearing, we would likely have a discussion and a vote. That's presuming that we didn't make radical changes as a result of the public hearing. So.
Do you have an expectation, Mark, on when you might be able to get to that point, scheduling that public hearing? Or is the approach kind of playing it by ear?
Yeah, I think it's the latter, and a lot of people have asked that question. As you probably know, we've enacted throughout this process and through starting with the final year or 6 months of completion of the comprehensive plan, and then during the zoning process, we've enacted a land use moratorium on major projects, and that's something that's really appropriate when a town is considering significant land use regulation changes. So we extended the moratorium recently for 9 months. It expired on May 1st, so we extended it for 9 months, which would be until February 1st of 24. That is not an expectation, though. That was just sort of a window that would give us the breathing room to do the work we need to do. So we also, during before we vote on it, before the public hearing, we need to complete environmental review process. So we've begun that process as well. But so I guess yes, it's the latter. I want to give the board I want to give the board the latitude to work on this as they see fit, and then we'll move forward appropriately.
You're not exactly, Mark, a political neophyte. Have you been surprised at all by the volume, and I mean that word in the literal sense, the volume of people for zoning and against zoning? Have you been surprised by these very strong reactions?
I guess I could not have predicted exactly the nature of what we've seen, but going from no zoning to zoning is a big step, and that's why the state has a very clear process for how a town does that. So, but I have understood that some people in town are very proud of not having zoning, are very committed to a non-zoning approach, which I guess I would characterize as libertarian or hands-off. So that part of it, I know some people feel that way. Yeah, other than that, I guess I'll just leave it at that. I've been surprised to a degree, but I knew that zoning would not sit well with some people.
Fair enough. Mark Witmer from the town of Caroline. Looking forward to our next conversation on this subject.
That's great, Joe. Thanks so much.
Thank you. 8:50.